our last little review video for the year. And I just want to kind of recap all the exponent rules that you guys talked about earlier this school year. We're going to focus on three main rules that you learned earlier. The red one, the product rule. When you multiply two things with the same base, we add the exponents. This orange one is the quotient rule. When I have division, I subtract the exponents, top exponent minus bottom exponent. And the green one, which is my favorite, power over power rule. Inside exponents and outside exponents get multiplied together. So these 6 problems here, I'll focus on one rule at a time, and then we're going to do 6 more where we start combining the rules together. So, first one. I have multiplication going on, so I'm going to multiply any coefficients. This is technically a 1 here. 2 times 1 is 2. And then I'm going to add any like exponents. A to the 4th, a squared is going to become a to the 4 plus 2. Both of my b's have a hidden 1 on them. B to the 1 plus 1 is how I'm going to simplify that. This blue here, right here, is not the final answer. It's kind of in between step. All I need to do to finish this off and get to our final answer is actually do the addition. So coefficient 2 stays the same. 4 plus 2 is 6. 1 plus 1 is 2. So all of this simplifies to 2a to the 6 b squared. Let's try the same idea here. My coefficients, 3 times 4 is 12. X's squared plus third, or x to the 2 plus 3. For y's, I have y to the 4 and 1. If you hear snoring in the background, it's my dog taking a nap on the floor there. He's a silly guy. All right, from here to finish this off, coefficient 12 stays the same. 2 plus 3 is 5, so I get x to the 5th. 4 plus 1 is 5, so I get y to the 5th. Next up, quotient rule. We'll be subtracting top exponent minus bottom exponent. If I could reduce or divide 2 over 3 and get something simpler, I would do that. However, 2 over 3 doesn't reduce, so no matter what, final answer is going to have a 2 on top, 3 on the bottom. For my a's, I'm thinking a to the 3 minus 1, so a squared. For b's, I'm thinking b to the 3 minus 2. 3 minus 2 gives me 1. But when I have a 1 exponent, I don't have to write it. So instead of b to the 1, I just write b. I know I'm all finished because everything is as simplified as it can be. My coefficient can't be reduced any further. I only see one of each variable, so I'm done. Another one with division. 2 over 4, we can reduce that fraction. If I divide both numbers by 2, I get 1/2. For my x's, I'm thinking 2 minus 1, which is x to the 1, or x. Same idea with the y's. 4 minus 3 gives me y to the 1, which is just y. You could technically write that the way it is in blue, and that'd be perfectly fine. Another way it can be written is without the 1 in front. It's implied. So the way you most likely see it, if it was something multiple choice, would be like this. We don't have to write the 1, so we don't. Just x, y over 2 is the best way to write that. All right, power to power rule. We're going to multiply inside exponents and outside exponents together. This becomes x to the 4 times 3, y to the 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12, so my final answer is going to be x to the 12, y to the 12. Same idea with this one. Kind of another thing to think about here is any numbers get the exponent also. So this isn't going to be 3 times 3, it's going to be 3 to the 3rd. And then I multiply existing exponents together. A to the 4 times 3, b to the 2 times 3. 3 to the 3rd is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. 4 times 3 is 12. 2 times 3 is 6. So those are some quick examples with just using one rule at a time. I'm going to do a few more where we start combining rules. Nothing too crazy, just doing 2 rules at a time basically. But it all boils down to these 3 rules that we talked about at the beginning. So give me 1 second here to get situated. problems that we're going to look at together. So, generally speaking, if you have power of a power, you are going to do that first, and I just realized I forgot to write a 2 here. So, that's where we're going to start here. Kind of like other things you're used to, if you see parentheses first, that's usually where you start. So, I'm going to do my power of power. This becomes x to the 2 times 2, which is x to the 4, y to the 2 times 2, so y to the 4. The other stuff I haven't messed with, so it stays the same. Now I'm going to use my product rule and add like exponents together. The coefficient 2 is the only coefficient I have in the whole thing, so that's going to stay the same. For my x's, 4 plus 1 is 5, so x to the 5. For my y's, 4 plus 2 is 6, so I get y to the 6. Everything's as combined as it can be, so this is my final answer. Same idea with the next one, start with power to power. So I'm going to leave that beginning stuff alone. I'm just going to copy it down so I don't forget about it. This becomes y to the 4. 2 times 4 is 8, so x to the 8. Now I use my product rule to add like exponents. For x's, 4 plus 8 is 12. For y's, 2 plus 4 is 6. And that's it for that problem. The next one combines my product rule and my quotient rule. Since I have something that can be simplified in the top part of the fraction with product rule, that's where I'm going to start. Start by doing product rule up top. 2 times 4 is 8. X to the 1 times x squared, or x to the 1 plus 2 is x to the 3. Only one y on top, so it's going to stay the same. Denominator is just 3y. We haven't messed with that yet. Okay. And then from here, I need to simplify whatever I can simplify. 8 over 3 doesn't reduce, so I'm just going to get 8 over 3 as part of my final answer. I only have one x exponent, so it's going to stay the same. For y's, I have a y on top, a y on the bottom. Y divided by y is 1, so it cancels out. So I end up with just 8x to the 3rd over 3. Next up, let's once again start with up top with the product rule. 4 times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. M to the 1 plus 3 would be m to the 4. N to the 2 plus 1 is n to the 3. Haven't messed with denominator yet, so it's going to stay the same. Now, using our quotient rule, 16 is the only coefficient, so it's going to stay the same. M to the 4 and m to the 4. M to the 4 divided by m to the 4 is 1. They cancel out. N to the 3 minus 2 becomes n to the 1, but we know n to the 1 is the same as just n. So this reduces to just 16n. For the last two, sort of like we did back here, if we have power of a power, we're going to start with that first. So we're going to start with the top part of the fraction once again. This stands for 2 to the 4. 2 to the 4 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 4 2's multiplied together, which is 16. So I get 16. For my u exponent, 3 times 4 is 12. For my v exponent, 2 times 4 is 8. Denominator is the same for now. Now I'm going to use that quotient rule. I am going to do division here. 16 divided by 2 is 8. And then subtract exponents. U to the 12 minus 4 gives me u to the 8. V to the 8 minus 4 gives me v to the 4. Last but not least, start with the power of power up top. 2 to the 4, we just did that a second ago, is 16. And then x to the 3 times 4 becomes x to the 12. Y to the 3 times 4 also is 12. Denominator is the same for now. Now let's simplify what we can. That's a 4, it's just really ugly. Only one coefficient, so 16 stays the same. X exponent, 12 minus 4 is 8. Y exponent, 12 minus 3 is 9. And that is it. Hopefully now you're feeling a little more comfortable, you feel refreshed on your exponent rules. Have a great day.